Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Rex.
I'm Daniel.
He's a level 3 whiskey sommelier.
He's a master level whiskey mooch, and today it's all about the Longmorn 16, and I've got a story to tell.
I have a fiasco to undermine your story.
I'm okay with that.
That's whiskey.
All right, today's whiskey is due to the grateful gestures of Terry McCullough.
Terry McCullough, you generous bastard.
Here's to you, friend. All right. Now, okay, so I want to tell you a story about, I'm going to open this, but then I'm going to tell you a story. So Terry sent this, and I'm a Longmorn aficionado. It's one of my favorite things. I've tried to buy everything I get in the U.S.
More so, you have time and time again, just in little moments, I'll be walking by, you'll be talking to someone on the phone, I'll be having a conversation with somebody, and they'll mention I'll be in such and such place across the pond.
Get me a Longmorn.
Yes, that's the one. He's
Yeah.
always telling people, my God,
By the way,
God,
here's Terry's comment.
I can't find Longmorn. So, Terry's comment. Hello, Daniel. I enjoy your YouTube channel. Tell Rex to shut up and listen.
All right.
Best, Terry McCullough. Terry, I take back every good thing I ever said about you.
Yeah, Terry. Okay, so here's the thing. Terry, when I got this, I freaked out because it was purple. And then I opened it up and it has this...
It's got leather on the bottom.
Well, it always had leather on the bottom, but it is this super fancy looking bottle.
Yeah.
And so I immediately went into Google and I discovered that Longmorn, in 1993, Longmorn launched the 15-year-old Longmorn. Because before that, they were a blend.
Okay.
Right? They were a blending company. Not really, but most of their whiskey went to blends. Very rarely could you get a single malt outside of Scotland.
Yeah.
But they launched the 15 to try to get some nationwide recognition. In 2007, they released the 16 to replace the 15. It was in a different package, and that's the one that I fell in love with. Mm-hmm. Recently, they discontinued that one so that they could do a launch of the whole new luxury line of Longmorns, including a $1,000 23-year-old Longmorn. And this is the new, what I discovered was, what Terry sent us is the new release of the new 16.
Okay.
Now, they use a larger proportion of American oak.
Right.
They've always used bourbon cask, and not a lot of sherry. Evidently, this is a larger percentage. Terry, I'm interested to A/B compare them because what I fell in love with was not this whiskey. So do you want to try what I fell in love with first, or do you want to try what Terry sent us first?
Quick question. Terry, have I shut up enough yet?
Yeah, I've been talking nonstop.
Yes.
What I fell in love with first, or what Terry sent first?
What Terry sent first.
Okay.
And explain to me, Longmorn, they wanted to do a line of luxury?
Yeah, they decided they wanted to rebrand as a kind of hard-to-get luxury single malt. And
just to get a better price point?
Just to really... my guess would be, if I was the master distiller, it's to elevate the brand name of Longmorn in the general public.
I think, were they not doing a pretty damn good job of that before?
No, they were doing a bad job of distribution. Longmorn has been famous by everybody who knows anything about single malt. Mm-hmm. So any reviewers, any blenders, anybody who matters...
Smells amazing.
Oh, anybody who matters in single malt Scotch or in Scotch industry, they all know Longmorn. It's a gold standard, right? But in the general public, most people have never heard of it.
Huh.
As a matter of fact, I have several whiskey drinkers who consider themselves aficionados who've never heard of Longmorn.
Is this... So, if you're in music, there's...
Lemon and honey.
If you're in music, there's...
Son of a bitch.
If you're in music, there's bands where, you have to be a band to really appreciate this band.
Yeah, like...
If you're a comedian...
Like King's X.
If you're a comedian, I have no idea what you're talking about because I'm not a musician.
Exactly, that's why I said that.
If you're a comedian...
Violet
Professional comedians always have a handful of people... Well, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's a comedian's comedian. And these are guys that, if you're a comedian, oh my God, this guy's brilliant. He's never exploded and become popular and famous.
Okay, I would say this. I would say yes and no. So I would say yes that this is a Scotch drinker's Scotch.
Yeah.
Or a Scotch expert Scotch. Man. But the difference is that usually in music and in comedy, when the general public hears that person, they don't like them because they're too much of a industry person.
So you think...
I think Longmorn is just not as well known as it should be.
So you think the mass...
I think the masses
on the
fall in love
nose
with this.
alone, I'm thinking... I'm going to have to try desperately hard not to call this something that even a beginner could like because...
Oh, no, it's an entry. It's everybody. Everybody can love this. This is slightly toasted walnuts with a honey and lemon
I get the
in
lemon.
the nose.
Absolutely. Honey.
And now for the sip.
The honey is prominent. Front leading. You get the lemon right after it.
This is... Okay, so here's the thing, Terry. This is so different from the Longmorn that I fell in love with. But I still love it.
Hold on.
I still love it, but it's very different.
How long has it been since you had the Longmorn you fell in love with?
Yesterday.
So you know.
Oh, I know. So here's the thing. It took me 6 years to find another bottle of Longmorn after the first time I experienced it. And then after I finally found a guy who would source them for me, I bought a case. I have 11 bottles of Longmorn 16 original down in my office underneath my stairs.
I'm getting... This is lovely. This is fantastic. This is wonderful. I'm getting more lemon than I was expecting. Even
I'm also getting white chocolate.
The
My brain said chocolate, but it's not dark. I'm thinking it's a white chocolate. Like the kind of white chocolate that you get on like a pretzel.
Yeah.
White chocolate covered pretzels.
The more I drink this, the more the honey starts to fade away and the lemon presents itself more prominently. But it's lovely still.
But it's so good. It's on one of the most this is a space side, by the way. It's one of the most complex space sides I've ever tasted.
Yes, and you know what? The thing that we're completely passing over, because it's almost a default flavor, is caramel.
Yeah, it's very caramel.
And I feel like very often we're getting caramel because, well, there has to be caramel. There's always caramel. We don't talk about the caramel. Yes.
Now, for the nerds in the group like me, Longmorn was started in 1893 by John Duff, who did not fare well. He ended up bankrupt. He also founded Ben Ryack.
And Duff Beer.
Yeah. He also founded Ben Ryack, and then he lost both of them. Now, over the years, it changed hands, so it ended up with the Glenlivet Distillers Limited. And then they sold in 1970. Then in 1978, right around the time I was born, they sold it to Chivas.
Chivas
Brothers, yeah.
Chivas Regal.
And then in 2001, it was bought by Picard Renaud.
Did you get my Duff
All right, I said that backwards. Pernod Ricard. I'm still wearing a hat. I just realized.
That's the
You guys want to know about this hat?
You hold on. You've been wrong.
I've been talking a lot. I'll tell you about that. Ask me about the hat some other time.
You've been wanting me to ask you about the hat.
All I'm going to say is this hat is over 100 years old. It's about 120 years old.
Kay Johnson. I drink all my whiskey neat. I drink bourbon and scotch, but rye is my favorite. Is there something inherently less desirable about rye? Is it too harsh for most? Too narrow a flavor profile? Should I be ashamed of myself? No. Drink what you like. I feel like it has a pretty narrow flavor profile.
It is a narrow profile, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. I think we've made him feel bad because you and I just don't like ryes, mostly.
Mostly?
Well, I should say, okay.
Not completely.
I'm going to put this you can back.
Right.
We don't like ryes the same way we like many other things we talk about with glowing reviews.
My hierarchy goes Scotch, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey,
bourbon,
and then rye,
yeah.
And then moonshine.
I couldn't figure out why I fell in love with this whiskey until I attended a class at Wizard Academy where we teach this thing called third gravitating bodies. And the third gravitating body idea is it's something...
It blows people's minds.
Yes, it does blow their minds.
You get deep into it.
It's a marketing theory, and it's actually based on physics, which is the physics third gravitating body problem, which is in physics, if you have two gravitating bodies like the Earth and the Sun, right, then the future is infinitely predictable. You can always tell where they're going to be at any given time in the future. If you add a third gravitating body, like the Moon, with its own gravitational pull,
right,
the future becomes instantly unpredictable past a certain point. Right. So, like, for example, when they were launching the rockets into space...
There's a handful of things that you can count on, but past a certain point...
You're guessing.
Right.
So, like, when they launched rockets into space, they can make predictions up to a certain point. But then after that, as the journey for the rocket continues, they have to constantly adjust all their equations because three gravitating bodies create unpredictable futures. So, in marketing, the idea is a third gravitating body is the inclusion of something that does not belong, but once it's included, it fits so perfectly you can't imagine it without it. And that's the definition between something that's predictable and something that's magical.
Yeah.
So if you've ever found anything in your life that was truly magical, it probably has a third gravitating body or something that doesn't belong, but you can't imagine it without it.
Yeah,
right.
And figuring out how to recognize that one and then apply it.
That takes talent.
That takes talent
and experience
and practice.
So I'm going to tell you what the third gravity. So I fell in love with Longmorn 16.
I still have a little.
Because no, leave that because you're going to come back to
Yeah.
that. As a matter of fact, we'll need to pour some more in there.
Yes, we
for
will.
an A/B comparison.
Yep.
This is for science.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, I fell in love with Longmorn 16, and it wasn't until I took that class that I realized the reason. And I don't normally remember. I don't like Speyside normally because they're so sweet. I like smoky whiskeys.
Right.
This is not that. This is a Speyside classic sweet friendly, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the classic Longmorn 16, the path goes cereal and butterscotch and smooth. And then as it enters your palate, about 3/4 of the way in, there's this sudden spike of black pepper that instantly vanishes. And then the aftertaste is kind of light and caramely again, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is you have this traditional Speyside that should be all sweet and friendly and pretty, and it has this little hint of, it's like putting cayenne pepper in chocolate, right? It's just this little hint of bing, or like a sushi with a jalapeno. You ever had a sushi with a jalapeno?
Yeah.
A modern rethinking of sushi. It's the same thing. It's like this classic flavor with a little bit of a, what was that?
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Something that
and it happens.
It grabs your attention.
Yes.
But it's not distracting. It works and it enhances.
And it happens so fast that you try to wrap your brain around it and it's already gone.
Yeah.
And so what you want to do is take another sip to experience it again because you're like, oh, the next time I'll get it.
Yeah.
And then it happens really fast and then you're like, okay, the next time, and then you're like one bottle down.
Yeah, then you're pissed, drunk, and angry you can't figure it out.
Yeah, so let's see, what this experience I anticipate being different than the one that Terry sent us.
Even on the nose, it's like 20% different.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, Terry, I may have to send you a bottle of the older Longmorn 16. Because if you can't find it, you need to experience that this is a work of art. And this is simply a fantastic whiskey.
So I'm getting the sense that you're a fan.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
You like Longmorn.
No, I'm just saying the new one is just an outstanding whiskey. But
somebody
this,
could convince you to drink Longmorn.
This is an unparalleled work of art.
They could twist your arm. Terry McCullough. I blame Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I think there is a flaw in the premise of your online personality.
Oh, Terry has more opinions.
So even just at the personality level, we're flawed.
Well, that's true.
Let me see if I get this right. Daniel has landed himself a paid job where he in part looks after a room of whiskey.
Yep, that's right.
Gets to drink whiskey.
That's right.
For free.
For free.
Conducts classes to drink whiskey for free.
That's right.
Where he, again, drinks whiskey for free.
Mm-hmm.
Has a YouTube channel where he drinks whiskey for free. And he receives bottles from his former students and followers of his YouTube channel where he can drink the whiskey for free.
Yes, that's right.
He lets Rex sniff his panties once a week.
I really like Terry.
Tell me, who is the real whiskey mooch? Best winking Terry McCullough.
I'm just saying, I think Terry dropped the gauntlet.
All right, first things first. I am just enthralled with how much Whiskey Mooch has become a title of prestige.
I know. Who really is deserving of the title?
All right, and second, if you knew how hard this poor son of a bitch worked,
Yeah.
you would realize he has never mooched a damn thing in his life.
Yeah.
I put in like a third of the hours he does in a given week.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we had to trade places, I would not. I would be perfectly content to come up here twice a week, once a week.
Yeah.
Drink some whiskey.
Your argument is unfortunately not flawed.
Right, so the whole YouTube channel and classes and students and the jobs, like, dude, he is so
Yeah.
All right, so Daniel, who's the Whiskey Mooch?
Oh, definitely Rex.
There we go.
I've earned every sip. All right, here's our toast. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm.
And hopefully you guys will be sending them in. So maybe you'll be on
toast.
Maybe you'll be in on this one. So here's to cheating, fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you cheat, may you cheat death.
And if you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.